When was the first time you were told you weren't thin enough to be a ballerina, a classical American ballet dancer?
Yeah, it's so fascinating and interesting, and it helped me to really decipher the language that's used so often with Black and brown dancers. Is that when I stepped into the ballet world at 13 years old, the reason I was taken in and picked it all up so quickly is because I was told I had exactly the right body, the proportions, the physicality. I was called a prodigy. And then, 4 years later, I moved to New York City and joined American Ballet Theatre. And all of a sudden, everything's flipped on its head, and all of a sudden I'm being told, well, you don't have the body for ballet. And it was like, well, how did those things change so quickly? That's language that's used that the ballet world can get away with because you're in a visual art form. It's about your aesthetic and it's subjective. So that's what they say to Black and brown dancers to disguise saying you don't have the right skin color for ballet. So along with that goes the body, being told to lose weight, get rid of your butt, get rid of your muscles, all of those things, get rid of your breasts. And, I was being told that probably from the age of 19. And in the end, of course, I had to adjust. I grew up not knowing how to take care of my body. My mom was just trying to keep us fed and alive. So, knowing how to eat and fueling my body into a lifestyle was a huge thing for me to learn and adapt to. But at the same time, I'm still the same person in the same body. And now all of a sudden I'm being accepted. So it can be very confusing for Black and brown dancers.
What did you focus on to get you through? Because for a lot of people, when they're told you're not right, they believe it, right? They answer the call and they're like, okay, I guess I'm not right, and they'll find another career. What kept you
Right.
on point, so to speak? So you see what I did there, Misty Copeland? Man, y'all better not mess with me
I like
today.
that. I like that. I like that. Well, I did believe it for a second, and I had my moments. I started overeating, and in the end, like it was only hurting me. Just feeling bad about myself and doing things I knew that were like poisoning my body. But in the end, I think it was because I had incredible Black women around me that were supporting me, that were showing me that it's okay to be the first. It's okay to be the only, but you're not alone. Like we are all here with you. And that was a huge turning point for me. And I've just had so many incredible Black men and women that have come into my life that have just kept me on track and knowing my worth.
There's a video of a young African boy who was doing plies and spins in the dirt of some
Yep.
back alley in Africa. And it is one of the most inspiring and beautiful videos I've seen in a while. When you think about, dance naturally coming from the motherland, like what you do naturally is not European. How do we start telling that story?
That's a beautiful example. When I think of dance, that's the first thing we do as human beings. We come out of the womb, we scream and we move our bodies, but all people naturally move and dance, and it's a part of so many cultures. So to exclude certain communities and certain cultures from ballet because they say we're not capable, it just makes no sense to me. And it's proof by this young boy that it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter where you're dancing. It's possible. He has it in him, and he's capable. And it just kind of knocks down all of those stereotypes and tropes about Black people not being able to do ballet.
But so how do you do your art if you can't do your art? And, I'm grateful that you're out there helping people who aren't financially secure. But how do you express, Misty Copeland, how do you express your art in this time when you can't, when it's been all about your body and movement?
Yeah. I've been so fortunate that I have so many outlets apart from just being a professional ballerina and being on the stage. And now is the first time that I've really been able to commit so much of my focus to these other things that I'm doing, whether it's writing books. I'm like, this book isn't even out yet, and I'm like already working on another one.
What is that
I
one?
have a production. It's called Black Ballerinas, and it's really to create the start of our own history book for Black ballerinas from generations that are not documented. We don't have one book where we can sit down and the next generation can learn about the history of Black dancers and Black ballerinas in particular.
Tell us one. Tell us
as,
one that we've never heard of before. Give us one.
Well, I don't want to say never heard of because people might have, but Nora Kimball, I'll say that. She was a Black ballerina with American Ballet Theatre in the 80s, I believe, and she was a soloist. And it's so crazy because when I was promoted to soloist, I was under the belief, especially since, the LA Times or the New York Times were writing Misty Copeland, the first ever African-American female soloist at ABT, come to find out there had been two before me, Anna Bennett Sims and Nora Kimball. And it's crazy that I remember going home and Googling, well, I don't even think I had a computer at the time, but like going on my phone and like Googling these people, and I could not find anything that mentioned that they were Black and they were soloists at ABT. And this is why I want to document our history in some way, because just like so much of Black history, it's slowly erased. And I'm committed to, I feel a responsibility to do this.
You do have a responsibility. We all do, to keep that alive. It's the only way that the ancestors continue is through us telling the stories. So we have to tell the stories, and I'm glad that you're in a position to do that. And that that your ego doesn't allow you to, erase somebody so that you can be on top. But people do that. I know that's not your nature.
I get it. Yeah. No, totally. But it's just mind blowing. And I think it's also just like a part of the ballet like structure is that, so it's ingrained in us that it's like passed down information and experiences and knowledge. And so there's just so much respect for our elders and so much respect for people that came before us and the shoulders we stand on. So I feel like it's very different from the way the world works today.
Nora Kimball, we're going to say her name and keep that alive.
Yes.
And Misty Copeland. Get her book. We're going to put it out, Bunhead. And then this next book, you've got to promise to come back when the Black Ballerinas is done, because I'm here for all of that. And I'm just so incredibly proud of you, but you, not just as a ballerina, but as a person, because you've always, kept a certain level of dignity, and everything that you do, it has that dignity with it. And it's just inspiring. So I just thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I can't wait to come back. Thank you so much for having me.